All right, how's it going, everyone? Hope you guys are well. I just wanted to do just a quick overview at the moment of what's going on, what I'm seeing. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my last video. I posted about a pattern called the diving board that's played out pretty well so far. And this is the pattern now on my screen. So it's a horizontal range and a V bottom, and once the V bottom's completed, it comes up to the horizontal range, and if it finds support here, just going to draw it in where I've circled, the next target is going to be up here, and this is where we can reject and possibly start a recession. So for the people who haven't followed the old video, I'll just quickly show you. So this was USD Japanese dollar. This is the same pattern, the diving board. And I've circled where we are right now on US 30. And you can see we broke through. We hit the top, and that's where the bear market started from there. And the confirmation was the bearish retest of this support again here. So if you look at US 30, we have a 1 year long diagonal support here. Right, we broke under it and we bearish retested here and went down. And now we're actually coming back over it again here. So let's zoom in. And you can see the blue line there. So if we can continue to hold this area as support, this can be considered a bullish retest. And we can go up a fair bit from here, because I'll just get rid of these lines. Now, if you look up here, we've got a gap. So I've been expecting this gap to close for quite a while. It's up here on US 30, it's at 2,900 or so. So if we can find support here, which it looks like it's doing at the moment, it's possible to continue up. But for me, the bearish scenario here, now if we fail to hold this line, we come under here and we come back up and reject, that's going to be a short for me. That's a bearish retest. So these are the two main things I'm looking at right now on US 30. But what else have we got here? So looking at the pivots, if we pump a bit more from here and we can claim 27,800 as support on the daily pivots, then we can continue up to the next one here as well. But right now there's a lot of bearish signs starting to come up on US 30. For example, looking at the stochastic here, we're starting to trend down, but uptrend is still possible. Personally, I think we're going to see some more short-term bullish movements. And then when we get up here to this horizontal, where the gap is, now above it, there's a demand zone, supply zone as well, which I've outlined in blue. So it's definitely possible for us to continue up here. And this is the best area for shorts for risk reward in this area. So right now, it's hard to say. We could dump off at any moment here, because this pump has been going crazy. We haven't had a proper retracement yet, but there's still signs there that say that we can continue to head up. Now, if you look at the weekly on the stochastic, looking at the weekly, we still haven't even hit overbought level. I circled it down the bottom. So there's definitely room to move here. And if you look, I've outlined another supply zone just here, which comes back to 2018, January and October 2018. And right now we're bouncing through it. So just looking at these supply and demand zones, if we keep this one as support, we're going to continue up here. And that aligns well with the diving board as well, this diagonal support. So yeah, that's just what I'm thinking about for US 30 at the moment. So keep an eye on this blue line. See if we do keep it as support. If we keep holding it, then I think we've got to be due for a massive pump. A few people are looking at the head and shoulders here as a possibility. Now it can definitely play out. The pattern is there, and you can see the stochastic is starting to turn over as well, which can lead to bearish continuation. But for me, unless you already got an entry on the top of this head and shoulders, I wouldn't be shorting unless you get a nice bearish retest off here, because the market is just at a point now where it's pumped so hard, and there's a lot of people that have had cash on the sidelines. So it could really create an environment for a massive pump. So this head and shoulders can come down and it can just reject and keep continuing up. So just be careful what you're doing. If you're shorting, I would advise to wait till a proper bear trend. And that's why I'm looking at this horizontal here. And once we do break down under it, if we get rejected, I will definitely look at a short, because it's just such a long time zone, and it's definitely important. So that's just the current view on US 30. Now let's look at SP 500. It's pretty much, all stocks are pretty much a similar chart. So I decided just to cover these two. So this is the same pattern. You can see the horizontal range and the V bottom. Now, on my last video, I called it down here, and I said, watch out, if we hold this as support, we can break this diving board. So now it's actually gone further into the pattern than US 30. So let's zoom in a bit. And what can we see? So it's still got that same head and shoulders structure. So if this does play out, it can take us back down to this support area, which is where I would personally be looking for a long, or the same as US 30, be looking for a short if we have a bearish retest. But you've got to consider that even though we have a head and shoulders, there's going to be a lot of people there's a lot of new people, and they're all saying recession, recession, recession. They're all looking for shorting opportunities, and every time they short, the market just keeps pumping. So it's for me, it's most likely we keep going up and we head to that important area where the price has previously come down from, as you can see up here. Got to find my lines. There we go. So we have the gap here, 3,340. We have a supply zone up here. So this is and these two levels, it's much better risk reward to short from up here. So I'm thinking it's going to continue. Now, what else can we look at? So let's look at the weekly and daily pivots. Right. So we're just in a range. Well, not in a range. We're just floating between the two daily resistance lines here. So let's measure this head and shoulders. And if we do play out this head and shoulders, it's going to take us right to the daily pivot. If that occurs, it's a really important level to pay attention to, because we could bounce off it and continue up, or we can bearish retest under it. And there's also an order block level right there in the lighter blue, you can see. So that's one possibility there. And also, what I noticed on SP500, now I haven't checked if US 30 has the same setup, but we currently have 2 channels playing on SP500. So if you're a bear and you're short, right now this is something to pay attention to. So this is one channel we have here. So right now we're trading within it, as you can see. And we could come down here to test the support of the channel again, which coincides with this nice demand zone here. So if we do continue down, the signs are there to watch this level here, which is around 3,180 to 3,160 as a possible support or rejection zone if we break under it. So that's one channel. This is another channel that's possible. So it's the same thing. If we break under this 50 line, the next support is 3,180. This is a really important level. And if we hold this, we can definitely continue up a lot more to around 3,300 or 3,400, where there's a strong resistance and rejection zone. And what else are we looking at here? So same thing on the stochastic. We are in not completely overbought levels yet. So the stochastic can continue to do this, and then we can see a dump. But 2 days to the weekly close, so pay attention. We could curve around and dump from here like that. But right now, it just does not look too bearish to me. It's all speculation. And looking at the monthly stochastic, like it looks positive to me. We've actually had a cross down here and it's ticking over. Let's see, 50% line. So we're bouncing right off the 50% line on the monthly stochastic. So this, for me, this is a positive thing, and we can continue up a bit here. But the most important thing for me is to watch this blue line, as I stated before. Pay attention to this blue line, the 1 year diagonal support, and see if we do have a bullish retest or a bearish retest off it. That's going to be one of the more safer entries you can look at in this market. And here again, so you can see the difference. US 30, it's trying to bounce off the zone, and SP500 is also way above it. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's a bit of a hard one at the moment. The price action has been really shit. I haven't been trading Bitcoin. I've been investing in some altcoins, and they've had a small pump so far, but nothing too major. So looking at the weekly order blocks right now, let me just zoom out a bit. All right, here we go. So looking at the weekly order blocks, a gray area is an order block. The darker gray means it's a different time frame order block stacked above it. So I've mentioned to people before in my Discord, right now we're kind of in an indecision. When I said that, we were around 9,400. But now that we broke into this gray zone, if we continue to hold it, we can come up here to the top of the zone. But still, to me, none of this price action means nothing until we come above this zone and bounce off it. then I will see that as a confirmation of bullish trend. Or we come through these zones here and then we reject off one of them, and I'll see that as a confirmation of bearish trend. But right now, like, no one knows what's going on with Bitcoin. You can, like, according to the chart, there's some bullish signs, there's some bearish signs. I would just keep it simple until we get a close above this gray area. I would just avoid it and look at trading other things. Now we also have the broadening descending wedge, which is here. I've mentioned this many times before to people. It's just a possible setup. It's not guaranteed, or it's not one of the most highest success rate patterns, but it's simple. We've broken out. If we continue to hold this previous resistance, we can go up from here. And if we don't hold this resistance as support and we break down and reject, it's possible for us to go down to the fibs here. And if we can find support at around 6,200 or a little bit higher of one of these fibs, we can have it's called a partial decline, where the price tries to dump and it has a curved bottom, and the pattern actually continues to play out from here to the upside. So that's just one thing to watch out for. And there was this symmetrical triangle we had. So now looking at it, we broke out. I just circled where we broke out. We come back under, and a lot of people shorted this as pattern failure, and then it just wrecked everyone again. Since then, we just had some bullshit price action choppiness, but just wanted to note that if you look closely, we're still actually holding above the previous resistance of the symmetrical triangle. So I would consider it short-term bullish until we break down under that, but I'm still not trading because the price action is just not nice, and you know, it can do anything at the moment. So just be aware of that. But there's like a lot of bullish signs, some bearish signs, but like I said, we're not really doing anything. So, and these are some long-term resistances here. Now you can see we're still under them, which is bearish. So if we can clear both, we're still under the second one, which is bearish. If we can clear that and find support off it, then the bulls might have a shot. But right now we can't really tell. Now looking at the monthly, order blocks. So this is what I mean about an indecision range. So between these two monthly order blocks, we can just consolidate between these two levels. So wait for, this is a level I mentioned in Discord, 10,200, 10,274. We close above it, and bounce can be an uptrend. And then the real bearish trend is under 1950, and then a really confirmation of a downtrend will be under 8,330. So like this. Now let's look at the pivots. All right. So this is the weekly pivot, daily pivot, and the daily pivot resistance and the weekly pivot resistance. Now you can see we're just in between the two pivots here. So, you know, you can't, until it breaks out of one of them, I don't think it's really worth trading. Look for a short under it or bullish retest above it. So that's the pivots. And the stochastic, yeah, this is what I wanted to mention before. So looking at the monthly stochastic on Bitcoin, Now it's crossing up here and 50% line. We're still a little bit under it. So if we can continue on the monthly to trade above this 50% line on the stochastic, this is really positive for Bitcoin. Plus, you know, we had a massive monthly bullish engulfing here. So, you know, it doesn't, I don't see a bear market here. Like, I'm not even seeing massive signs of rejection yet. So just keep an open mind. Now, that should be enough for Bitcoin. Let's look at F. Now, this is a really interesting one. So we had a bull flag on F. Now the lines look a bit weird. That's because they're drawn on a higher time frame. So before the OCD people start commenting, I'm just going to let you know. So we had a bullish retest of the flag, but it's kind of just fizzling out at the moment. It doesn't look the greatest. I had a position on this. I entered about here, and you know I ended up taking my position out here just for a small amount of profit because it doesn't look the greatest at the moment. So my next opportunity I'm looking at here on F is, you can see these blue zones there. Some of them are supply and demand zones. Some of them are order blocks. So looking at the daily. Now we're pretty overbought, which is dangerous. That's why I exited the trade and I'm waiting for more clear information. But there is a double bottom here, right? And if we do break the neckline and claim this neckline and order block as support, we can fucking absolutely launch here. If not, if this flag fails, we're looking at a possible bounce at this level here. So just something to keep an eye on for F. For me, it's been like a leader in the alts. Like if you see positive activity with F, you can expect that a lot of alts are going to do well as well if we're in an alt season. What else have we got here? So yeah, looking at the monthly on the stochastic, it's like, you know, we're not even in oversold levels. We're coming in positive here. So there is a bull div there. It's not confirmed because the bull div needs a bounce. So if we can do this, because the price is actually moving downwards, then that can be really positive as well. But one thing I wanted to show you guys is in the past week or two, there's been a lot of really interesting news in the crypto market. I'm just going to show you guys now. So can you guys see the screen still? Yo, man, I just let you in. I didn't see you there. But I've recorded this, so if you missed anything, don't stress. So yeah, I just want to show you guys some of the news I've found at the moment that's really interesting. Now, this is from Financial Review. So Coca-Cola vending machines have started taking Bitcoin in New Zealand. Now, this is a really positive news for Bitcoin. If one of the largest soft drink companies in the world is taking Bitcoin, it's a legitimate sign that it can be used as a form of payment. So this is really positive. That's just one thing I've noticed. Now let's look at these other things. So recently we had people saying that miners were selling all their hardware and they were going under. Well, I found a really interesting data platform called Glassnode. And it's got a chart here that says it's got the miner outflow on the 7-day moving average. And the miner outflow is basically when miners are moving large amounts of Bitcoins out of their wallets or selling off. And you can see the orange line is actually when that's happened. And you can see the gray behind it is the price of Bitcoin in comparison. So everyone's been saying that miners are actually selling off large amounts of Bitcoin. But if you look at this chart on the bottom right, that's not the truth. That's not actually occurring. So for me, this is a really bullish sign. It shows that they're trying to put fear into the market to get people to assume bearish while they fill their bags. And we have some other stuff to back that up as well. So I'm sure most of you have heard this already. It's about Grayscale. It's one of the large funds investing in Bitcoin. And it's saying they brought 33% of all newly minted Bitcoin over the last 3 months. So that's, that's a pretty bullish sign as well, fundamentally. And this is an article that Kyle shared. Not the same article, but it's about the same thing. And it was the fact that a lot of investors had cash on the sidelines. So right now, if that cash is still there and we continue to pump, this can create a really bullish environment where stocks can go absolutely crazy from the fear of missing out. Because people have been selling their stocks, people have been cashing out their super, all in the panic. And if we do go back to normal, which is definitely possible if we don't have a second wave of Corona, it creates a crazy environment for a pump. But it's all theoretical, so just some perspectives to consider. And some bullish news for Ethereum. So first of all, this is a chart showing the active supply of Ethereum online. So the amount of Ethereum available for people to trade on exchanges, etc. Now, if you look, it's been steadily decreasing this year. So that's the basic rules of supply and demand there, which is bullish for F. And look at this one. So this is the number of new Ethereum addresses involved in more than one transaction. And you can see at the bottom the number of transfers with the new accounts in the different colors. And you can see that since January, it's actually been steadily increasing. It's broken its all-time high. So that's a positive thing for Ethereum if more and more people are continuing to use it and transact with it. These are just a few things I wanted to show you guys to definitely keep an eye on, because right now things look to me like they're lining up to be pretty bullish. But first, we got to knock out that resistance on Bitcoin to confirm that. Now I'm gonna unmute everyone. If anyone wants to share some charts or you got a few questions or anything, just let me know.
Hey man, I'm at work at the moment, so I can't talk too much, but just wanted to say thanks for the presentation. I can hear listening in the background, man. So yeah, thanks for the cover.
No, that's no problem, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Just giving me a bit more insight in terms of the market.
I can't hear you too well, man.
How to plan. Yeah, my mic's a bit stuffed, man. I'm using my second one because I'm at work at the moment, so I can't talk too much. But yeah, just wanted to say thanks for the coverage.
No problem, guys. I hope you got something useful out of it. Looks like that's going to be it for now. If you come in late and you missed it, I've actually recorded this. So give me about half an hour and I'll be uploading it to the social media platforms. And for anyone watching, if you liked the video and you're not in our Discord already, you can find a link on all our social media platforms to join, and I post charts and videos like this every week. So I look forward to seeing some of you on there. Thanks a lot, guys.